Hi guys, welcome back to a Fresh Perspective on Business podcast. I'm Laura Leyland, Managing Director of Fresh Perspective Resourcing, which is a recruitment business with a twist on the traditional. And here today, my co-host extraordinaire is the one and only Vicky Taylor.
Hello!
How are you?
Good.
Wonderful.
Yes, it's nice to be back. I say this all the time. It feels like I've not been here for ages.
Back in the studio. Well, we did miss one, didn't we? We missed a recording day because we've just been super busy.
Yeah, it's been so busy.
With running and business, which
coincidentally
is today's topic. So today's topic is all about on running, but running a business, but literally, because we're going to combine running a business with running, and we've got actual stats, data, evidence, thoughts and opinions to back up why it's a really positive thing for your business, entrepreneurship, if you're a CEO, MD, leader of a business, that actual physical health and having positive physical health will lead to positive mental health and therefore a positive business success.
Absolutely. And we are walking evidence of the benefits of running, yes.
And that's the end of the podcast. Okay, bye. Only joking. Right, okay, so episode 230.
I couldn't believe that when I wrote it down yesterday. I was like, is that right? 230? But it is.
You put it in the calendar and for the schedule. I had to double check. I'm like, are we out of the 20s? But we are.
We are. 230.
Wowee. Amazing.
It is amazing.
It is amazing that we managed to stick with it for so long.
Yeah, that's a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, more than a couple of years. Yeah, but anyway, no one cares about the stats and the data and the maths of how many episodes we've done, but we've been doing it for a while and hopefully you've listened before and you enjoy them. So today's topic is a nice combo, like we said, of business and running, and therefore why running helps you run a business. So health and well-being are hugely hot topics at the moment. I mean, they have been up and coming topics more and more so over the last 5 to 10 years, but currently more so than they ever have been before. Are hot topics that people are chatting about, especially linking it to business, entrepreneurship and running a team. So me and Vicky will attest to you that running a business is tough.
Yes. I mean, I'm not a business owner, but I know how tough it is for you and like what I get involved in. So
yeah, but as a senior leader within the business, you're still involved in the running of it.
Yeah, and it's
thankfully
it's a tough gig.
It is. There's little point fluffing it up. It's just, it is what it is. There are absolute incredible highs, but so many and usually unexpected crushing lows.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster. There's very little middle ground.
Yeah, you're either up there or you're down on the floor.
Like being bipolar.
It is. Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is like Vicky said before, we're literally walking examples and reasons, case studies, I suppose, of the benefits of it. 3 of the senior leadership team run, so myself, Emily, my sister and business partner, and Vicky.
Yes.
And then we've got other members of the team who also run. I feel like we've inspired them.
I was just about to say that. I'd like to think that we've inspired them to get out there running. And as time goes on, more are getting involved. We've got Danielle involved now, haven't we?
Yeah.
She's signed up for a 10K, so it's nice.
As is Rachel.
Yep.
And then Cheryl's run a marathon with you.
Yes.
And we're doing London next month, which is slightly terrifying.
Oh, gosh.
But I do think us talking about it and being positive about it and the positive benefits that we've experienced that we talk about have probably planted seeds with the team, because we haven't said you have to run, you should run. I mean, maybe we possibly may have forced Danielle into signing up for the 10K.
Maybe, but she just randomly, was it like a Saturday night? She just randomly did it and just posted it in the group.
And
so
she had a wine.
Maybe, but that's how all these things happen, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's how I ended up running the London Marathon last year. See, wine is good in moderation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and the rest of the team do grudgingly get involved in. We have our other wellness and fitness initiatives, so we put on HIIT and yoga sessions for them each week. Some of them get involved willingly, others a bit more reluctantly. But I suppose, what do you think, Vic, that as a leader, the health and well-being of your team should be paramount? And do you think it should be your responsibility?
I feel like we've got some responsibility because we're there to look after them, aren't we? Because they might not always have people looking after them outside of work. So I do feel like it's our responsibility to obviously not force them, but try and push them in that direction and just give them a bit of advice. Because some people have no clue about doing stuff like this, do they? Like getting involved in like fitness, it's just never been on their radar. And I feel like we just give them the opportunity. That's the better word. Opportunity.
Yeah, and the information. Because more so these days than historically, we are, as businesses, employers, leaders, we are more tuned into the mental health of our people and why we should be bothered about that. But then why not physical health as well?
Well, it's all linked, isn't
Because
it?
if you're physically healthy, you're more likely, I know it's not an exact science before someone comes at me on social media, positive physical health is more likely to set you up for positive mental health.
Yeah, I do think that there will only ever be positives from getting involved in fitness and like running and physical stuff. I don't think there would ever be a negative. Right, it can only have a positive impact on you.
I would say so, unless obviously people go to such extremes and then start, cutting out food and start taking steroids and things like that to enhance performance. That is extreme, and there are extremes in every element of life and business. And then again, mental health can be you need positive mental health will help you with a positive physical health, like interlink. And then when I have suffered with negative mental health, when I've had depression and things like that, the last thing you want to do is go and exercise. When you do it, it does genuinely help if you actually force yourself to do it.
Yeah, because I don't think I realised how much it does help you. It's when you stop. So when I've not been able to run in the past, and we've seen it with other members of the team, haven't we? The impact it then has. Like sometimes I don't think you know the work it's doing in the background. So you're being able to run all this fitness stuff. And then when it stops, you're like, wow, my mental health doesn't feel as great now.
Yeah.
And it must be because I'm not running or doing whatever.
But you don't always notice it until it's gone. Like you said recently, you've missed running and you really appreciate being able to run because you've not been able to recently because you've been injured.
Yeah. It's been really sad. And do you know what? I kick myself now because I always used to moan about running. Like getting up on a Sunday and having to do a long run. I'd sit there, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to enjoy it. And now that I can't do it, I'm like, I wish I'd never complained about it because I actually did really enjoy it and I used to love doing it. And now I can't just get up and go and do it. I'm really sad about it.
But you've still done other things to maintain your positive mental and physical health in terms of strength workouts and other cardio based, which is commendable, really. Because it would be so easy to go, I'm really fecked off. I'm just going to eat chocolate and watch films.
But I have done that in the past, though, because do you not remember I was meant to run York Marathon and I got an injury on the other foot. Not the same foot as this one, the other foot. So I couldn't do it and I just gave up.
Oh.
And I didn't do it. And I was like, not running, didn't do anything in substitute for it, and just gave up.
Well, look at how you changed your attitude. That is commendable.
Thank you.
I suppose going on to that, like, you look after your people because it's really important too. And as recruiters, we genuinely believe like that. We would always find out from our new clients, like, what do they do for their people? How do they feel about their people? Do they just view them as commodities? Or are they actual humans that they genuinely want to succeed? Because you should have a responsibility for that. And then obviously, if the answer to that is no, then we possibly wouldn't take on that work because we're not allowed. It doesn't allow us to work with integrity and talk to candidates about this exciting opportunity that we think is a good fit for them, because we absolutely know that that's not true. So we're having to lie to people, which does not fit our core values. No. So as recruiters, knowing that people care about their team, whether you run or not, but knowing that you care about them as people is really important to us. And then as a business owner, the side benefit of looking after your team positively impacts your bottom line, improves productivity, reduces absence levels, increases customer service and customer retention, and therefore overall turnover and profit levels. So if you don't have an interest in your people and you only care about your money, still do it. But then as a senior leader, an MD, CEO, entrepreneur, who looks after you? You're looking after your people, but who looks after you? So I have a PA. She obviously looks after me. Vicky looks after me. And I look after Vicky.
Absolutely.
But it's the running, isn't it? Doing the running is how we look after ourselves. For me personally, it's kept me glued together. Mostly mentally, because, physically I now have to go and see a chiropractor and a sports therapist very regularly. But it's kept me sane and balanced for the most part over the last few years that have been quite turbulent, and has allowed me to maintain mostly positive mental health. How would you say, how do you look after yourself through running?
It's helped my mental health massively, because I can't think how long ago it is now, but it was before I started running. I suffered quite badly with some mental health issues, and I wasn't looking after myself at that time. And then we started running. Was it last year? No, year
23.
before. 23. Yeah, and I've seen such a difference in my mental health, and it's like I can pick up on it as well. So if I've had a busy day in the office, I'm like, I just want to go for a run to clear my head.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Like, I'm not a treadmill runner. I don't want to do that. I like getting out in the fresh air, just being away from, there's no distractions. It's just like some music on.
Nature.
No,
you've not got your phones or TV. There's no emails.
No, and you can just clear your head. You can think, and it's like it all just falls out my head.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
This is good. But before we start, so if you've been listening to us, you'll know that we've in January, in 2023, we started running and went from 5K to signing up to do marathons. And now we're slightly obsessed with it. But they thought, a few years ago, if someone said you'll go out running for 3 or 4 hours on your own, I'd have been like, what? That'd be really boring. No way. I mean, not only can I run for 4 hours, but 4 hours, that's a long time to be on your own.
You wouldn't sit in your house in silence for 4 hours, would
just
you?
Still.
Yeah.
Just
nothing.
No, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird concept to get your head around until you start doing it. And then you realise the benefits. For me, running, like you said, it makes things quieter. It reduces the noise. And I think the action of running forwards helps me process information and thoughts. And I actually have ideas, which I do every now and again. I have to stop the Apple Watch so it doesn't impact my time, and email myself an idea.
Yeah.
Because I just think it just gets your brain working in a different way. And I think as well, when you're running and it's hard, there's no room in your brain to think about anything else other than running.
Yeah.
So you're very present in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what you mean when you say everything just falls away.
Yeah.
You kind of push it out of your brain.
Yeah, because I used to be a couple of things I used to be really scared about, and running has helped with them. I used to be scared about just do you know, being in your own thoughts type thing? And you have to be when you're running. And I used to just avoid that completely. But
wow.
I was like, I just distract myself from things. And I think just being able to go out on a run and deal with it, and you think about stuff and you think more logically, and and then the stress is gone.
Yeah. And then you get the positive benefits after run, post-run benefits, endorphins, things like that. And then the problems may still be there when you finish your run, but you're coming at it from a more positive and proactive point of view because you took the time to work on yourself and go for a run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, honestly, everyone who listens to this podcast is just going to go running afterwards.
I hope so. I hope we inspire some people to do that.
So how and why did we start running? Because we wouldn't say, for a long time, we wouldn't say we were runners, even though we were running. But now I would say we're runners.
We're absolutely
How
runners.
did we get from point A, not running, to point B, where we are runners?
Right, so I've never been a runner before this, but you have, haven't you? You've done
on
some
and off,
running
bits
bits.
and pieces,
Yeah, but
I've done a
I've
few
never.
5Ks.
Yeah, and then it must have been 2022, the end of 2022. We had my appraisal, and in it we set goals for business goals, but we also set personal goals. And I thought it was a great idea to tell Laura that one thing on my bucket list was to run a marathon. So she added that on to my appraisal goals. And here we are now. You said that you'd support me and run with me. And then we mentioned it to other people, and Emily and Cheryl decided they wanted to do it as well. And I regretted it instantly. I remember we were like, right, we're going to do this. We're going to go running on lunch. And I remember,
lovely.
oh yeah, this is going to be easy. And I remember the first run that we ever went on. It was on, do you remember it? It was on a lunchtime.
In the park.
We went to Astley Park. You and Emily were like well in front of me and Cheryl. We were at the back. We cut off halfway through. I think we only did like 2K or 3K. And I was like, what have I done? It was awful. I hated it. We were bright red. It was just the worst experience.
And what's insane is like 2 years on, you've run a marathon.
Yep.
You've run half marathons. We've done some questionable 10Ks. And now you're doing London Marathon next month.
I know. I can't believe it. When you think of back to that first run and then I've run a marathon, like the difference is crazy. And we have done some questionable runs in that time. We've faced all elements and the worst. I feel like we've picked the worst races to do in the lead up to the marathon. But
Was it Heaton Park?
oh my God.
Don't ever run Heaton Park half marathon. Do the 5K, maybe the 10K if you like hills.
I would not recommend. It's 4 laps of Heaton Park and the worst hill in the world is in Heaton Park. It's never ending, is it?
No, so once you've been up it once, you know you have to do it 3 more times.
Yeah. And then we were faced with rain the whole way. And
yeah,
not
they were
even just
miserable.
not even just like
I mean, it
little
was
bits of rain.
December.
It was, yeah. Oh, honestly, that's the worst run. I would never ever recommend you to do. Hey, avoid at all costs.
But this probably leads us on to the next point. Like when it comes goal setting, kind of is why we think running is important to business and why we liken the topic to running a business is because, like you've just said, you decided to do it. You had an idea,
Yep,
an objective, a goal to run a marathon. Whether you thought, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that.
probably should have started smaller.
Maybe, but go big or go home.
Yeah,
Go hard or go home. But you didn't just go and run a marathon, did you? You didn't just go, right,
No.
January 22, I'm going to run a marathon next month. You thought, I'm going to run it. And you didn't book it in for a long time.
Yeah.
Or did you? No. And then you broke it. We broke it down, didn't we? Because we said we'd do the same run. October 23 was the York Marathon. And we broke it down into individual goals, which is what you would do in business.
Yep.
So you set, right, what do we want to achieve this year, in the next 3 years, the next 5, the next 10? What are the big headline goals? How are we going to get there? How are we going to get to this revenue goal? How are we going to launch this new service? And then you break down into milestones. Like, right, first of all, we're going to do this. Then we're going to go after this market. We're going to set up this, or we'll white label this and do some testing, or whatever it is. And so it's so similar, the premise. And I think what you don't realise, because you kind of over the last 4 years of just your progression and trajectory through business and through Fresh has been amazing. Probably when you set the goal of running a marathon in 22, so it's like over 2 years ago, you didn't realise. I think what it's taught you is about the positive benefits of goal setting.
Do you know what? I was just about to say that because I don't feel like before in my life I've ever really set a big goal.
It might be like buying a house.
Yeah.
Buying a house, you need to save money.
Yeah, but it was very like loose when I was buying a house. I was like, I want to buy a house. I'm just going to save up for it. And when I can. And it took me a really long time.
So there's no date.
No, there was no like,
okay.
right, I want to buy a house by this time. And so I need to save blah, 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 blah. I just did what I could. So I've never really had that like structure of goals.
Okay.
So this is probably the first
Never
time.
really been time-based.
No.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've had to do that. And I do think it's taught me a lot.
Like what?
That I feel like everyone should have goals. Like I feel like it's something to work towards and it can have a real positive impact on you. And I feel like people should have big goals. We try and push the team, not push, but like we encourage the team, encourage them to set big goals. And I think it's really important to just we can do anything that we put our minds to. And I feel like doing this has shown me that.
Oh, I love this. I feel inspired.
Oh, thanks.
But you're right, it's purpose. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes you had a goal to run the York Marathon on October 23, and you didn't do it because things didn't go to plan, and you didn't adapt your plan.
Yeah.
But you learned from that.
Yes.
So this year, so you did Manchester last year. So you hit your goal.
Yeah.
You didn't give up, even though you said before you gave up. You kind of did a little bit because you didn't run York, but you got back on the horse.
I did, yeah.
Put your running shoes back on. You're like, right. And then in April, the year after, so 6 months after, you ran Manchester. And now you're running London, and you've learned about the plan and the goals. And again, it's not gone to plan.
Absolutely
Your goal
not.
has remained the same, but you've had to adapt the milestones and the path to the goal.
But I think the thing with Manchester is, so I did the Manchester Marathon, and then after it, well, all the way up to it, I was like, I'm doing Manchester, and that's it. I'm never running a marathon again. Did Manchester Marathon. Still adamant that I wasn't doing another marathon.
What happened?
Well, I felt lost because I didn't have a goal.
Oh.
I was like, hang on. What do I work towards now? Like, what is my purpose? Like, what do I do now? I was like, sign up for London. And here we are. And I know it's going to be the same after London because we've all said we're not running a marathon. Yeah. And I don't know if we will because it is tough. We've talked about that we might do halves, haven't we? But I do think that as soon as London is over, give us a bit of time to recover, there'll be something that will be like, right, we're doing this. And we will, because we need something to work toward. Whether it is another running thing, I know we've spoke about high rocks and stuff before, but we all just need something to work towards because that we've turned into these people that kind of need that purpose, and I think it's good to have that.
I think so, and I think any purpose is so important. I think for a lot of people, having a direction or just something to work towards, something to achieve, knowing what you're doing, where you're going, and why you're on that journey. And I think that's in your personal lives and your business lives. It's so important. Like, if you don't have a stretch goal for your business, then what are you working towards?
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't get there, but if you give it a damn good go, then that is all that matters. And if you didn't have the goal to aim towards, would you give it as good a go?
Well,
I personally wouldn't.
Well, no, because I mean, I feel like I'm a perfect example right now. If I didn't have the London Marathon, I would not be doing everything that I can to try and run. I'd be like, I'm injured.
Oh, well.
I won't be doing anything for a while, but I can't because the goal is there. And it's like you said, I'm going to give it a damn good go. I don't know how it's going to go right now, but I'm bloody doing that marathon and I'm going to try my hardest to finish it.
Good. And you will. I genuinely believe that you will finish it. It might not be what you anticipated when you first started training because you've been injured and off your runs for a bit. But I do think you will do it. Because you've got your goal and you're determined to do it.
Yeah.
And it's, but like you say, like having the goal has held us accountable. It's made us get out and run when we really don't want to. We've created a running club. So it's almost like this own little fitness community that we started at work that's had positive benefits in the teams. And obviously holding each other accountable and using things like Runner has really helped. Quite a new, it feels new. It's probably been going longer, but it's coming to my orbit recent months, probably from a few running influencers. But that's like having a little running coach on your phone.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to have that plan there for you because, I mean, we're not saying we're nowhere near experts. We've only been running for 2 years. We've tried different ways and we kind of put plans together last time we ran marathons, but it's nice for someone else to have that plan for you so you don't have to think about that and you're just like, right, what's my app saying today that I need to run? Boom, just need to go out and run it.
Yeah. And like when you take it like it's a business, a lot of business people have business coaches.
Yep.
You have a business plan. So running, why wouldn't you have a running coach, whether it's an actual person or a little app on your phone? And why wouldn't you have a running plan?
Yeah.
And so I know people are like, oh, running is nothing like running a business, but it's so similar. I know obviously they are very different unless you're running around your office. Although it was on our walking treadmill the other day. Well, like the way you have a big sizable goal, you break it down into smaller goals, you stick to the plan, you have a coach, there's other things that you will do to get to your goals and if you need to adapt the plan, you adapt the plan, and they're very similar.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters how long you've been running for or how long you've been a business owner for. I think it's always good to have them other people guiding you and giving their advice. So even if you've been a business owner for, say, 10 years, you still won't know everything. Still
Absolutely
learning things.
not. Yeah.
So it's definitely useful to have a business coach. And it's the same with runners. Even if we've been running for 2-3 years, however long it is now, we still don't know everything. We still need help.
We do still need help. Even though we've run marathons and we want to run more, potentially, we still want help to get to be better, be more efficient, be more effective, and that's how you should be in business.
Yeah.
And adding on to that, because it would be remiss of me not to, when you're talking about getting advice, is, runner or a runner app or a running coach or a business coach would be very much like fresh perspective on the recruitment side.
Yes.
If you have a recruitment goal, you need to grow your business by, I spoke to someone recently, 24 people in the next 12 months. You need a plan and you need a goal, and you need little individual goals and processes and systems, and you need a recruitment coach to hold you accountable, to give you advice and best practice, make it more efficient and effective and ultimately successful. And we could be your recruitment coach at Fresh
We
Perspective.
absolutely could, because people might not expect that from a recruitment company, but we can offer the advice and the support and guidance along the way. It's not just, here's a CV, do what you want with it.
Here's a percentage. That is
Yeah.
not how we work.
No, it is more, I can never say this word, consultative.
Consultative. You're trying to put an extra T in it.
Consultative.
There we go.
There we go.
Well done.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm getting all passionate and excited.
I know.
And then we touched on then, when we talk about kind of like goals and things, like resilience and like getting out when you don't want to, keeping going, adapting the plan, getting back up when you literally fall down and hurt yourself. And that is just one of the positive benefits from running in general and running as a business owner.
Yes, absolutely. Things don't always go to plan.
No. And like in business and in running, success requires consistency, persistence and goal setting, like we've said. And yet overcoming physical challenges and business challenges, they're similar, and it all translates into mental toughness, which I suppose is your mental resilience and tenacity to just not give up, because business is hard. Things go wrong and you're like, oh my God, should I just sack it all in and just go back to just strip it all back? And then you're like, no.
We need to pivot.
No, we need to pivot, we need to flex, we need to adapt, because we are tenacious and we are adaptable and we are tough mother fluffers.
We are. And running will definitely help you with that. I think people do look at running sometimes and like, that's easy. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's absolutely not. And once you get into it and all the things that can go wrong, may go wrong, and having to deal with that, it builds your resilience a lot.
Yeah, it does. So, and then aside from resilience, what would you say are other positive benefits from running when it comes to linking it to business?
Reducing stress.
Yes, massive one.
Being a business owner, stressful. You have a lot of different things to deal with. So it's a nice little stress buster.
Stress buster, I love that.
I don't know where that came from. A stress buster. But any form of exercise. I do think as a business owner, you should be doing some form of like physical exercise to just reduce that stress. I'm not having that business owners aren't stressed. You must be stressed.
Absolutely not. And yeah, not all of you might not be stressed, but I imagine at some points you'll be more stressed than others. And like people, and then obviously the physical impact of being stressed is high blood pressure. You're not being as physically well because you're not looking after yourself as well. And then heart problems and burnout and breakdowns and things like that. So it's like you should, if you looked after yourself and ran or exercised, you may avoid those entirely or reduce the impact of those things happening to you.
You'll definitely reduce it.
And then and just from doing that, decision making capability will be better and easier because you'll have more mental clarity because of the actual scientific effects of the exercise.
Yeah. And like we mentioned before, you're taking that time away to be able to make decisions. Like I imagine you've done this before. If you ever need to make like a big decision, you're probably like, I'll go for a run.
Oh my God, yeah. And without even realising it. So I've just gone for a run and come back and had an answer.
Yeah.
I've not, and so now I know sometimes I just need to go and run and I'll at the end of it, I think I'll probably most likely have a solution.
Yeah, because it's like you said before, like you don't have any of the distractions. Like if you're trying to make a decision and your emails are pinging off, your WhatsApp's going off, you've got a dog next to you barking, like, and you just need just like half an hour of just clear mental space to just think. And it's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So it enhances creativity and helps you solve problems and have decisions.
Yeah.
And running in new places as well. I ran in a new place last night. I had a late meeting in Manchester. So I didn't get back for our running club appointment. So I was like, right, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to get around this? I still need to run. I need to stay on plan. So I took my running stuff with me, got changed in the car. Hopefully there's no cameras in the car park. And I went for a run around Media City. And it was really nice to run somewhere different.
Lovely. I've enjoyed that previously because I've ran on Lytham Front. That was nice.
Oh, yeah.
Because it does, we said this, I think, last year when we were training for the marathon, it can get a bit boring running around where you live. So when we're just running around Chorley all the time, it can be difficult and you can lack a bit of motivation. But going to new places is lovely.
And running around Media City after work yesterday, so there's a lot of people look like they come out of work and were running, and then people were leaving work. I was running around all the high-rise office buildings. So I felt like quite businessy, but at the same time running in the city.
I know, because when we run round here, it's very just like housey, isn't it?
Yeah, and countryside.
Yeah, which is nice, but we've seen it all before because we've done many runs around here.
Yeah. And in winter, you can't see anything because it's just dark all the time.
Well, yeah.
And then running, whilst you might think, God, it sounds tiring, all this running, which, it is. You are a bit tired when you've been for a run, but also energised at the same time. And I do feel like, in general, I have more energy and more capacity to take on more and deal with my workload and deal with problems because I've run. I'm a lot more productive.
Yeah.
I procrastinate less.
Yes, I always used to not believe this when people used to say, oh, you'll have more energy if you run or go to the gym. I'm like, how? I'm going to the gym. I'm going to be more tired. But it does give you more. It gives you more energy, helps you sleep better.
Yes, another added benefit.
Yeah, it absolutely helps you sleep better. But yeah, it does help with productivity.
You just reminded me of something my grandma used to say when I was I hot or thirsty? She's like, oh, have a cup of tea. Oh no, it's hot. Have a cup of tea. That'll cool you down. I'm like, and I actually don't think. I don't know if it's true.
I feel like my mum's once said that before. I thought, you're mad, you.
Yeah, but when you feel like, running and going to the gym will give you more energy. You're like, no, it'll make me tired. Yeah. And then my grandma used to like, oh, have a cup of tea. It'll cool you down. And I'm like, will it make me sweat more? And then my sweat will cool me. Because that's the only way I can see it working. But you just triggered a memory.
Yeah. But yeah, it will definitely help you sleep better, give you more energy. Get your steps in.
Get your steps in, get outside.
Yeah.
And also, I have now, by talking about it on social media, LinkedIn predominantly, I've found clients and prospects who like running. So I've got a lot of clients that we have this thing in common. Running, and so when we check in with each other, I have loads of stuff to talk to them about, and we talk about running. We follow each other on Strava. I've built up better relationships with my clients and a better base of clients based on them being like-minded, and they also see the benefits of running in their businesses. We have so much more in common, and that would never have been a benefit that I would have ever anticipated at the beginning of my running journey. That it has actually helped me retain my clients and make more money.
Yeah.
So if none of what we said so far interests you, but this might spark your interest.
Yes. Because unfortunately, and runners and non-runners will probably both agree with this, when you start running, it basically becomes your whole personality, doesn't it? It's what it is.
Really boring to people that hate running.
Yeah, and you want to talk about it sometimes, and maybe like your friends aren't runners and they just don't get it, and you want to, like, I love, like, after a run having like a little dissect of it, and like talking about running trainers and gels, and I enjoy talking, which is why I've done this podcast, because we love talking about running. But
no one else will listen to us.
Yeah, but you can tell when you speak to people who are just not interested. But if you find someone who runs and you know that they run, like if I speak to people on LinkedIn and they're like, oh, I've done a marathon, you just have this like instant connection. And you're like interested. They're interested in you because you know that if they're a runner, they're going to be interested in what you've got to say as well, because it will be their whole personality as well. And you could just have a great conversation about it. And it's just, if you find someone who's a runner, talk to them about it because they love it. If anyone ever wants to talk to me about running, I'm like, absolutely. My emails and my messages are always open for
running chat. We sponsor an event called the Marketing Meetup, and the first one we went to, he gave us name badges. Obviously does this every time, but I'd never seen name badges with it says my name is, and he wrote your name on. I like talking about, so I put running.
Me too.
And then other people that like running saw my badge and came and talked to me about running. People I knew, people I didn't know, and it was just, I'm like, that is such a good idea, so we're going to do it at our events now.
Yes.
And then I suppose, I did some research with the help of my friend ChatGPT because hopefully you've got to this point in the podcast. But I didn't want people to just think it's pink and fluffy, we love running, so therefore everyone should run and it'll impact your business. I mean, I genuinely believe that, but there is actual science, studies, data, and that have been carried out, and the key findings that link running to positively impacting brain health. And I'm like, so this is why you should do it. Like, I know running might not be for everybody, and I know that it might not have to be running. It could probably be some other form of exercise that you actually like and want to do that brings you joy, because it should bring you joy. But when I was looking at, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I run, because like, and I know you need to take it with a pinch of salt, and I've got links to studies if people want them, message me on LinkedIn. I'm not just spouting this rubbish. I have actually fact-checked it. But one thing that really stood out, I mean, all of them, like elevating mood and mental health, obviously, we already know that. Antidepressant effects, I know that. I've been depressed and I have had mental breakdowns and been through dark times. And running, I know, has helped me feel more positive and that's what it means by more of an antidepressant effect. I am more capable of dealing with stress because I run.
Yeah.
And then improving sleep and reducing stress we've touched on. But the ones that kind of stood out that I wasn't really aware of, I know we say our brains work better, we have mental clarity, but it actually there are studies that show the impact on cognitive function and memory enhancement from running. And It's like linking to like stimulating the growth of neurons in the brain, which is, areas of the brain that are essential for like memory and learning. And then it says there's studies that show that just 10 minutes of moderate intensity running has been shown to boost mood and enhance executive functions such as planning and decision making.
Wow.
Which I thought was really interesting. And then the other one was the reducing the risk of cognitive decline and therefore things like dementia.
I didn't know that either.
Which you wouldn't think. And I know it's not going to, potentially you start running a little bit and you're never going to get dementia or anything, any kind of like degenerative brain disease. But if running might lower that risk, why would you not do it?
Yeah. And I think people need to realise as well, like, I know we're talking about running marathons and all this kind of stuff, but running doesn't have to be like running 20 miles on a weekend.
No.
Just like going out for 15 minutes after work.
Oh,
or
10 minutes.
Little 2K or 5K, like all of it matters.
Yeah, so you don't have to do what we're doing. But if you went out and ran for 5 minutes and turned around and ran back, that is enough. Do that a few times a week and you're on to a winner.
Well, it's saying just 10 minutes of moderate running. If you did that just 10 minutes a couple of times a week, I think you'd see I feel like you would still have all these benefits that we've spoke about.
Yeah, I think so. And even if it's not a dead cert, I'm going to keep doing it just in case. And it's obviously these are not necessarily all linked to running. Like physical activity, like the doing regular physical activity can lower the risk of Alzheimer's and things like that. Obviously, running it can be a big part of that. But I didn't realize that it could. Running for me, you don't use your brain when you run. You're
No.
using your body. So you feel like you're making your body fitter, your body stronger, like everything within the body. So your heart has to be stronger, your cardio, your respiratory system, it has to be stronger because you need to breathe more, you need to take on more oxygen, you need to pump the blood around the body, your muscles need to be stronger, the tendons and everything in your body need to be stronger so that you can run. But I would never have felt that it would improve and help my brain.
No, I had
I
no
just
idea.
thought the benefits of that were just that I didn't feel as stressed and I could make decisions. But I never thought the long-term physical impact that it could have on my actual brain.
Yeah, I had no idea. But there's so many benefits that we don't even know about. And I've always known that in later life it will help me. Do you know, because I'm physical now, but I didn't realise to that extent.
Yeah. And so now even when I'm like, oh, I can't really going for a run. I'm going to run for all these positive benefits.
Yeah.
And I suppose to just kind of wrap up, because we've been talking for a long time. Honestly, we could talk all day about running.
Yeah, we could.
But throughout the running journey that we've been so far, what would you say are the key, apart from the things that we've just learned recently whilst putting together the information for this podcast?
Yeah.
What have we learned?
Top one, comparison is a thief of joy. Do not compare yourself to other people. It's taken us a long time to...
And it still gets us sometimes.
It still does, yeah.
And what we mean is like people that can run further, like doing the ultras, or people that run faster.
We aren't the fastest, are we? But we've come to terms with that. We're getting faster.
We are.
But yeah, we like to compare ourselves to people who run faster than us. Like
it's really hard.
When you've got Strava and you can see all these people running like 5.5 minute Ks and we're like a whole minute.
So what we need to do is follow the people we actually follow on Instagram and TikTok who are similar pace to us, who are like, you are a runner. If you're a slow runner, you are still a runner.
Absolutely.
If it takes you 35 minutes to run a 5K or if it takes you 20 minutes to run a 5K, you are still a runner.
Yeah.
So we need to follow the people that probably run a similar pace to us, and then we need to follow them on Strava and build up the community so that there's less comparativeness, even if that's a word.
I know, because we only ever seem to see these fast people. But did you know that for a woman, an average for a 5K is 35, or it might be a little bit more. Might be like 36, 37, 38, something.
We are above average.
Yeah, so we're just looking at the wrong people.
Right, okay. And then, all runners are warriors. And
absolutely.
And everybody at some point in their life either needs to compete in or go and watch in person, not just on TV, a marathon.
I would absolutely recommend it, because when we came to watch you at the York Marathon, that was my favourite days out ever. Like, you get emotional, it's exciting. People you don't even know. Yeah. Like, when there's people there running that you do know, I was nearly crying when Laura ran past. And it's so nice to watch, and the runners appreciate it so much.
Oh, they do. You just shout their names, tell them they're a legend, tell them they're a fucking warrior, and it'll just lifts them just for that moment, especially if you're at a mile for, like, second half of the marathon. And like, it restores your faith in humanity, like watching everybody show up for everyone, people they don't even know, shouting people's names that they don't know, high-fiving people. It's giving me goosebumps just talking about it. And when you see people that see their people,
honestly, it's an experience that I think everyone needs to go and experience. If you know someone running a marathon, it would mean the world to them if you went to watch them.
Oh, it really would. And I suppose final point is, I think doing the whole marathon and the running journey has made me and Vicky, and I hope more people than that, realise that you're more capable. Have you ever thought possible?
Yeah, and you can do things that are hard and that are tough. Because it isn't easy.
No, it's not.
But we can do hard things.
You can do hard things.
Yeah.
Whether it's running or whether it's business, you've absolutely got this.
Absolutely.
And if you want such positive and inspirational, resilient people to help you with your recruitment projects, we're very different to recruitment agencies. We're a recruitment partner, an outsourced internal team, and we can help you fill your vacancies, or we can help you with processes, strategy, goal setting and planning, and any kind of training in between.
Yeah. And connect with us on LinkedIn if you like our running story, because we talk about it a lot on there as well.
Yeah, Laura Leyland. Leyland spelled Leyland, and Vicky Taylor at Fresh Perspective Resourcing. And you can follow us as a business on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. YouTube. Our website is www.f-for-fresh-resourcing.co.uk. If you've liked this podcast today, please subscribe and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it.
Yes, please.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.